Hi everyone. For today's session, we have Kaustav with us. We are doing this the next step series where we try to speak to different people, try to understand their career paths and the decisions that they made on the way. So welcome, Kaustav. Kaustav, before we start, why don't you give a background about yourself?
I am Kaustav Sinha. Hello, everyone. I am from Bengal. I grew up mostly in a suburban part of Bengal called Haldia. It's because my father always had a private job. And then in 2010, I came to Manipal. I did my BTech in computer science and engineering from there. And following which, I changed my career path and I went towards theater making and acting primarily. So yeah, 4 years of engineering followed by a year of training in the Institute of the Drama School Mumbai, followed by uh, life.
So I want to ask, the first question on this that um, when like I know that you did a lot of street plays and theater in college as well, but when were you sure that this is what I want to do and I want to pursue this path professionally? So when was it when you were sure, and how did you actually come to that conclusion?
I guess the first time must have been in third year of college. I realized it took me 2 years to realize that I am definitely not the brightest student, and computer science is full of people who really want to change the world. You know, you being one of them. So I would literally used to get nervous in front of my classmates. You know, when they were, especially during exams. जब पता चलता है कि सामने वाला बहुत जल्दी जल्दी लिख रहा है और you are getting stuck with a particular question, and this has been happening. It's not that I wasn't trying to prepare in a different way, I wasn't trying to change my methods, but it so happened that I was just losing interest as the days were numbered. So I think in third year of college I started uh, doing a lot of theater actively in college. Almost apart from the times that we used to have exams, I would most evenings after college I would be in a rehearsal space. I used to work with this official dramatics group of Manipal called Aina Dramatics, and so yeah, so working with my batchmates, juniors, seniors was a great time, and I realized that my time in Manipal is actually uh, uh, it's becoming more lively during the evenings when I'm rehearsing, and and I have to really force myself to wake up in the mornings early and hit the 8 o'clock class. Otherwise I used to be a strong attendance rule as well. So I think third year के बीच में कहीं पे during the fifth semester, again my results were pathetic, and I did not know how to go about it. So that's when I seriously started venturing out, looking out for institutes that would that I can get trained in. Giving 4 years in an undergraduation to engineering, and then when you think that you're going to change your path, you've already lost those 4 years, because eventually there's समथिंग मतलब अगर उसका एप्लीकेशन ही नहीं होगा आगे चल के, then it's a lot of people, the society likes to view it as 4 years lost. So I also wanted to, but I knew that I had no backup. I have nobody in the family who is into this field, who can guide me, who can mentor me. The only way possible was to get a proper education, understand how the system works, understand how the industry works, and then dive right into it. So I think third year, sixth semester onwards, I started um, focusing more on what I need to do post the eighth semester. So yeah.
There would be multiple parts, right, to get this kind of a formal training. So you researched about it and you went for drama school. So if you can talk about, what are different paths to go towards this, and also what exactly do you do in this kind of a course?
I think it's a lot of material is available on the internet. A lot of research has been done on the kind of institutes that give you professional training in the performing arts field. So one needs to just decide that what they really want to do, what they connect with the most. because I had 4 years of theater, amateur theater experience. I really wanted to pursue theater, understand the craft, and to be able to, see that there are so many things that I probably don't even know about this field. There's only one way that we've been asked to work while we were in college. Obviously, our seniors learned it from somebody, they passed it on to us, and then we passed it on to our juniors. But essentially, I realized that for somebody like me, for an outsider like me, it is important to get trained. And trained through theater, I came out with a lot of research on what could be a good college, what kind of college, what kind of learning do I really want to get myself into at this point. Um, that's when Drama School Mumbai came into the forefront. It was between the National School of Drama or the Drama School Mumbai. But the National School of Drama is a 3-year long course. And if you add the 4 years of engineering to 3 years of National School of Drama, by the time I would come out, I would probably blast my head off and not know what to do or where to go. The eventuality of where will I be located? I can get myself trained anywhere in the country, but uh, where is maximum amount of opportunities in? So I realized that if Bombay is the city that gives an actor or gives our industry maximum amount of opportunities, then it's probably the best to get trained in the city. That serves two purposes. One is that I'm obviously getting trained. The second being that I am being in the city, so I am already starting to make a pool of network for people that I can approach for work later on once I graduate. They are the same people, they are colleagues now, and they used to be our teachers, our professors in school. Um, to answer that, what do we do with this kind of a course? Uh, it's a year-long training and 6 months of theory, wherein you're taught different acting techniques, and not just acting techniques, but also how do you break down a script, how every meaning of the script of your dialogue is available inside the script. So there is something that we work with, which is called the text of the actor, and followed by the subtext of the actor. Subtext is never written by the writer. It's an actor's job to find that out. So then all these kinds of different techniques and different methods towards acting, and even different forms of acting, because uh, performing arts in theater has a lot of specialized forms that one can easily go and get themselves trained. Again, something like clowning or improvisation, or even writing for that matter. So 6 months of this theory classes happened, followed by 6 months of application. We used to have a light design, sound design workshop in the beginning, followed by out and visiting director would come to our school and he would direct a play. And uske baad then we obviously we used 2 months to rehearse and then put up the entire play together. So it was students who started designing costumes. They designed the lights. They brought the soundtrack for the play, whatever sound needs to be played. So they were basically preparing us essentially towards the craft of theater making. And why do I stress on theater making as a word? That's because once you are out of school, it doesn't matter if you wanted to be an actor, but you would definitely have more number of tools, which opens out a lot of doors, where you're not just limited to being an actor, but you can also try out different avenues of theater, like the makeup department, the sound department, the light department, the production department. And all these departments are equally important, I believe.
And what do you do, like, after this course? Like, what are the career options possible for someone who's pursuing this kind of a course?
So, like I said, in theater making, there's a lot of things that one person can do. You can act, you can direct, you can write your own play, you can design lights for a play, you can design sound for a play, makeup, costumes, production, publicity, getting sponsors. You can produce a play if you have that amount of money, because any production which happens in Bombay, say, which is at least an hour or more long, that requires a certain amount of budget, and we really have very few patrons left because theater is also sort of a dying form of the art. With all the OTT platforms and the world getting into the digital media, the need for people to go outside and really watch plays has reduced to quite a large extent. But having said that, I also believe that producing a play is a very important thing, because you never know what kind of content might stick with the audience. And if they really like something, they would want to watch more of it. It gets more shows, it can go to theater festivals, it can. So it can basically, through the word of mouth, it becomes uh, a big production, a notable production. So yeah, these are the fields that are possible from just training yourself in theater making, essentially.
Sure. And Kaustav, like, what do you do? Like, I know that you have done a few plays. I know you have also done TV advertisements. So, what do you do right now, and how do you see, like, your career path growing after this?
Um, so I identify essentially as an actor. Uh, I feel the most confident as an actor, whether it is stage or screen. But at the same time, I know that there is a dearth of opportunities as an actor, because there are just so many of us in the city, in any city actually, and the number of opportunities are pretty scarce. But at the same time, like right now, post the COVID time, I realized that we, like, essentially theater will succumb to this, because 7, 8 months of having a lockdown, people not knowing when this world would be a better place to be able to socialize, and theater involves rehearsal, it involves being in a room with your colleagues and devising something right from scratch on your own, as a team. It's never an individual that succeeds, it's always the team that succeeds. And so yeah, when I right now, if I do not have a team that uh, would be able to rehearse in an outside space, given the risk involved, there are different avenues that have opened up to me, like doing something online, taking classes for children and young adults. I realized that finding work for me wasn't all that difficult. I was constantly involved from one theater production to the other. Sometimes when I needed to make money, I would take workshops, or I would have these TV ads that people have seen last year, or so basically, or just do a voiceover for a reputed company for a sound brand. So something like that. There has always been an opening. One just needs to uh, understand that, a dry spell such as this, which is no fault of ours, but a lot of industries are actually getting hit by this. At the same time, one needs to understand that there is nothing called an end road. People just need to be able to tell themselves that, okay, we are focused, this is what we want to do, and no matter how limited the resources are, we can make something out of it. It might not be the best work, it might not be the work that I want to see myself in the next 5 years, but at least it's some work. I am not sitting at home jobless thinking that, shit, how is the next month's rent going to come from? Where is it going to have come from? Yeah, so
Cool.
that's it.
So, I think, Kaustav, this brings me to the last question, um,
Right.
which is that, you spoke about this, but one is that what exactly are the struggles of people, who are in this kind of a profession, right? Like this kind of theater or arts. And what would
Right.
be your suggestion for, someone who is, let's say, looking at this kind of a career path, who is still exploring and is interested in this kind of a career path? So what would be, a few things to keep in mind for that person, a few pros and a few cons, if you can talk about that?
From my limited experience, the only pro that I can think of is you're getting to do something that you love, man. And you're getting paid for it also. So there's no right or wrong age, I believe, to thinking that this is the right thing for me to do. We keep discovering, we keep exploring, we keep making new connections, and we realize that after a point of time, something that interests me today might not interest me in the next 3 years. But having said that, the pro essentially will be that you wouldn't want to join or be a part of this industry unless you really, really like being a part of this in whatever capacity it is. So when you have that voice, when you have that, you wake up every morning. This used to happen to me in Manipal. I woke up every morning. I was like, shit, आज वापस क्लास जाना है. शाम को रिहर्सल है यार, कैसे 8-9 घंटे निकलेंगे. So when your gut has a dialogue with you on a daily basis where it tells you that just go for it, and we'll figure it out together, whether it works for you or it doesn't. Then this one pro can lead itself into multiple pros, and multiple pros that I cannot point out right now because my journey as an artist has been different. And I'm sure for people who are listening to this and uh, who are slightly underconfident of joining this as a profession, uh, let me tell you that the journey is going to be very different. All our journeys are going to be very different. What helps us stick to the journey is again reminding ourselves why we wanted to do it in the first place, and we should keep doing it. That's the pro. Cons being there are more number of cons, and if I had to compare it with the pros, I'll tell you that there are a lot of rejections. There are so many rejections. Like my very dear friend might be making a film and he might ask me to audition for that film, when he's literally, we've studied together from the same school. And initially when he asks me to audition, I might feel like, hey, isko audition ki kya zarurat hai? He knows how I act, he knows the kind of characters I can play. तो फिर क्यों? But I understand later why it is important for him, because it's his project, it's his baby. He wants to be absolutely sure of every step that he takes. So he might take my audition and he might reject me based on my audition. And the day I recorded the audition, I might have been in a bad space in life, in my personal life, and I don't know, that might have not been my best take. Um, and I did not get the audition. And if I don't get the audition, then do I tell myself that I'm a bad actor? Do I tell myself that this field is not uh, good enough for me and I'm not worth it? This 3-4 years of hard work is not worth it. I've tried that. Believe me, it does not work. It really, really really comes in between your self-confidence. It almost tries to break you down and makes you feel uh, like makes you feel useless in life, to be honest. But at the same time, I think that is one thing, that the more number of rejections there are, just as an actor, I'm telling you, then you might feel like this is not the right thing for me to do, and it will pull you down. But that's where my training has been helpful, because I know that if I don't have work as an actor for 2-3 months, I do have other skills to be able to invest my time in another project. Similarly, one must look for different avenues at all times to keep yourselves afloat. You have to make sure that you don't pull yourself down just on the virtue of a couple of rejections, maybe 10 rejections. I mean, the number is immaterial. What is important is the audition that you shot for 3 months back and the audition that you shoot for today. Uh, the audition that you shot today oozes out a lot of confidence as an actor and makes you feel more comfortable in that skill. So as long as that is there, I feel that is progress, and then I think it's easier to transform the cons also into the pros.
So thank you so much, Costa, for doing this. I think this is really, motivating for people who think about these kind of career paths, or are, who are thinking about this, but really do not understand, from where to get started, or, if this even makes sense. So I think this is going to be really helpful for people. So thank you so much for doing this.